Wine sat on the couch in a building full of respectable people that worked under her husband. She watched from afar her husband, who stood with some people and discussed some work. They all listened while he placed his commands. He looked hot, and she was seduced. In a black tailored suit that hugged his body, well, like another skin. He was a man with great height and physique, a charming face, and the ice cold eyes that could dig you down the grave without doing much. Once he was done, he walked up to her, held out a hand which she took and stood up. He pulled her against him and grabbed a hold of her chin in a dominant way and kissed her before she held his arm and the two left the office. She came to visit him, wanted to go back home together after work, and he had promised her he wouldn't take more than 5 minutes. As they walked out of the office, into the car, and back home, people treated them with respect and fear he had instilled in them. Once they reached back home, Jungkook removed his coat, putting it on the couch, and turned to see his woman glaring at him. He smirked and removed his tie, throwing it in another corner of the room. Wine. Jungkook, she warned, and her glare intensified. It only brought Jungkook to tease her more as he removed his shirt and tossed it in the third corner of the room. Jungkook. Oh, it was an accident. One grabbed the pillow and threw at him. Then she grabbed another one, which Jungkook held without a problem, and laughed. When the pillows were over, her hand went to whatever that was near her, a lipstick, and without realizing, she threw it at him. It crossed his cheek, leaving a mark, and blood oozed out of it. Vine widened her eyes and ran towards him. Vine, show me. She panicked, apologizing again and again as she pulled her sleeve down and placed her cloth covered palm on his wound to stop the bleeding. She looked like she was about to cry because of the immense guilt. Vine, I didn't realize. I'm really so sorry. Come here, I'll put something on it. She ran away, bringing an ointment, and applied a band aid over the little scar on his cheek. Jungkook, hey, it hurts. Ouch. Yeah, be slow. Off. He kept moving as she was applying the ointment, receiving worried glares from her. Jungkook sighed once she was done and stood up, picking the things he scattered around the room. Jungkook, fine. I can't even tease my wife because she'll make me bleed at the end. He said dramatically, earning a wince from her. He then was about to put them in the laundry, but started to hang them. Jungkook, you wouldn't have to mess with my dirty clothes. He received another pillow on his back and winced dramatically. Wine, you cheater. You could have dodged them. You are doing that on purpose. She huffed and he laughed, flopping down on the bed. Jungkook, yeah? That's an excuse to what you did, lady. Wine, go away. She stomped away to her dresser and took out a sheath mask, applying it on her face. Jungkook, where is mine? Wine tossed him a plain sheet mask without looking at him, and he turned to disgust and asked, offended, Jungkook, why am I getting a plain one and you are getting a panda all over your face? Wine, no pandas for you tonight. Jungkook, come on, this is ridiculous. He held the sheet mask in between his thumb and finger as if he was disgusted by it. He then stood up and backhugged her, squishing her in his arms. Jungkook, I'm sorry. I love you, you know. He did an aigyo, and Wine laughed, clearly satisfied, and pointed at him. Jungkook, oh, now that's funny for you. His tone changed into serious, dominant one as he turned her around, pinned her against the table, and placed both his hands on either side of her. The cute expressions long gone, replaced by the mighty Mafia John he was. Wine, uh, uh, panda mask for you. Jungkook, how about I take this panda instead? He smirked and dug his face in the crook of her neck and placed a kiss before he bit and sucked there, making a dark hickey. She tightened her grip around the table and closed her eyes. Jungkook then wrapped his arm around her waist, pulling her flush against him, and continued to mark her even more until all of her neck was filled by him. He licked his lips and pulled back. Jungkook, now, that's the kind of artwork I admire. You look beautiful like this. He then took a picture. Then that cute and soft husband was back, flashing his bunny teeth at her. She scoffed out of disbelief. No matter how used to be she was of him, but it was still always new to her. But she always bragged about it. A man who can do both based on your mood. Be a cutie pie you would want to squish, and a hot headed prince who can kneel before you and protect you from the world. Wine, come here. He finally earned the panda mask which Wine applied on his face and tapped on it to fix it right. Jungkook, sorry darling, but it looks better on me. Wine, who says that to his lady? You're the worst, you know that? Jungkook, I get that a lot. He winked and poked her nose. She grabbed his hand and bit on his finger, earning a glare from him. Jungkook, hey, leave it. She bit harder and he winced, pulling it back immediately. Jungkook, woman, you're wild. You can bite something else. She pushed him away and he grabbed her, throwing her on the bed, and started to tickle her. She laughed, wiggling around, and he hovered above her. Jungkook, stop. Oh my god, no. She laughed more than he finally gave up, laid behind her, and back hugged her, taking in the French scent of her hair and shampoo. Jungkook, I love you. No other woman was ever able to do to me what you did to me. All my heart and my soul belongs to you. She relaxed at his words and pulled her back into his body, even further, as they laid in each other's arms, cuddling, while they waited for the mask to do its work.